Yes, Tobin, hello, welcome. We are waiting for some other people to join us. We'll just wait a couple of more minutes. Tobin, can you mute your audio until we start talking? Because there's a lot of noise. Thank you very much. So, Tobin, I guess we can chat a little until other people join us, if you want. Hello, Scarto. Okay, so I guess we'll start just the three of us, and as people join, they'll be able to participate in the conversation. But welcome to episode number two of this monthly podcast that I want to do, or Google Hangout session, however you want to call it. Um, Now, I'd like to remind you that this is recorded and will be posted later on YouTube. So if you have a problem with that, maybe with recording conversations, let me know beforehand before we continue. But if you're okay with it, then I guess we can get started. And hopefully more people will join us. We had quite a few people in the previous episode. So hopefully more will join later on. And the way I would like this to work in this episode is to get some questions from you guys. And after we finished everything, then we have a few topics that we can talk about. I've actually set a topic for today, which is about motivation and how to do good work. This was actually suggested uh, by one of our friends. And Okay, and we'll do that last. And as I said, we'll be taking your questions now. And the first question is actually from someone who joined here, Tobin, and he he typed in chat actually if we can check a website that he made and maybe offer some feedback on what's good and what can be improved. And for everyone that joined here, the link is can be seen in the group chat. So if you can check that out, and maybe if you have some piece of advice for Tobin, um, just feel free to jump in, or simply type it in chat. So the website in question, um, let's see, Tobin, what you have here. From as an initial impression, it looks pretty good. It's clean. It's very well organized. I see you've used a couple of patterns here, and this is for WordPress, correct? Oh, okay, for Ghost. Oh yeah, that's correct. You have the Ghost logo on the bottom. I didn't see that. So yeah, it's pretty simple. What I saw just now is that you have a certain width for the content in a blog post, right? So you have certain padding on the sides, but for some reason the separator line between the text and the read more button is not as wide as your content. So there is a bit more space there than there should be. So that's one of the things that I would change. Let's see what else. Let me know if that makes sense. Currently, Tobin is typing in chat. Okay, let's see what else. And I think you can go a bit bolder with the font size, because currently you have that very very small font size in the meta, in the post meta, where it's the date and the author and the tags and so on. So go a bit bigger with the font size there, and also with the font size when it comes to the post headings or the post title, to be more exact. You can make that a bit bigger. On the form in the footer, I guess you could add a bit more padding in the form field, because right now it's the text is kind of touching um, the borders of the input. So you could add a bit more padding there. And let's see what else. Maybe take care of the distance between the different widgets in the footer, because right now the social media icons are kind of touching the subscribe form input. So it doesn't look that good. Let's see what else. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so we have a question here from Scarto, and I'm just going to read it out loud. Hello, Adi. What are the steps and requirements for being freelancer, front-end web developer, and how can I appeal those who are looking for freelancer front-end developer? Can you please give some examples from your own freelancer experience, especially first one? Um, okay, well, my first freelance experience was not actually related to front-end development. It was a design-related thing. But when it comes to front-end, it was actually a website that I created for some friends. So that's how I started my freelance career. They had a nonprofit organization and they needed a logo and a website. So
The first line of main here, I'm going to add a new variable. This is a simple integer variable. It's been given a value of 99. It is local to main. What that means, it's available inside main. And it's
can you hear me?
Hey, hello.
Hi. Welcome. You're watching something, I think, and
Yeah. I turned it off.
Okay. Thank you.
How are you guys?
Good. Yeah. We're expecting more people to join. We had already 2 questions. I've answered one of them, so if you want to chime in, I don't know if you can see the chat history here. The group chat, can you see it?
Yeah, I see it, but not the questions.
Not the questions, okay. So
yeah.
Basically, Scarto, I'm just gonna go back to the first question real quick and then just come back to your question and we can answer that if that's okay. So maybe Ibrahima can offer some insight into this. So Tobin, our friend here, asked for some feedback on this website. So if you have something to say about it, maybe offer him some advice.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Okay. Is it a WordPress template?
It's actually for Ghost.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's not bad for a blogging site.
Yeah, I said the same thing. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
For a starting theme, it's actually pretty good. There are a few tiny details. I talked about how he could go with bigger fonts and stuff, bigger font sizes.
Yeah.
Maybe be careful about the spacing a little bit, but other than that, yeah.
The white space, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, white space, and in the footer, there's also the distance between the social media icons and the subscribe form.
Yeah.
They're kind of touching each other there, so.
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
Okay, cool. So the second question was from Scardo, and he asked about the steps and requirements for being a freelance front-end developer, and how to get in contact with people. And he asked me about my own experience, and just when he came in, I was talking about how I got my first freelance job, or whatever you want to call it, as when I was building a website for a nonprofit organization. And for me personally, I actually got my first big contract on CrowdSpring when I
Okay.
made a logo and some banners
Mm-hmm.
for a client, and that client, asked me if, I would be willing to help them with front end with HTML, CSS, and all that stuff. So that's one of the ways you can get contracts is by winning a contest. And CrowdSpring is a great site for that. If you don't know it, I'll just link it here.
Okay.
There it is. An HTTP right there.
CrowdSpring.
And CrowdSpring also has, design-related categories, and they also have, I think they have coding, still have.
Let me see that.
Oh, no, I think this is only for, it's been a while since I've been there. It's only for design, but, you
Design,
can
yeah.
keep contact with the client, and you can
Okay.
do other work for him.
Okay, like coding, etc.
Like coding, etc. Yes. So Scarto, Envato Studio is another. Yeah, exactly. Same as freelancer.com, Tobin. Envato Studio is also a great place to find work. And as far as I know, they do have coding categories. I know they have WordPress customization, so you can have a look here. Yeah, they do have websites and programming category, and you can offer your services there. And just keep maybe keep a portfolio if you're building websites, like writing the HTML code for it, CSS, and all that stuff. Have a website, keep a portfolio online that your potential clients can check. That's always a good thing to do. I hope that answers your question. I don't know. Okay, another question from Tobin here, sorry. If I want to try and build a WordPress theme, what do you recommend to learn? This was asked in the previous episode, and there are lots of things you can learn from. There's the WordPress Codex for one, and let me just link it here. The WordPress Codex basically contains all the information you need to know about WordPress. And of course, from that, you can learn about WordPress themes.
And, I think it's the best. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go, you say.
Okay, I think the WordPress Codex is the best resource out there. So basically, you can find everything you want when it comes to build your own team. So after that, there are some online resources like Video at Tuts and Treehouse, etc. But basically, all you need is to go to the Codex and find some useful things there in order to build your team. The documentation is very clear, so I think it is the only resource you'll need in order to build your own team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Ibrahima said. The Codex is a great resource. And there are a bunch of different resources online, including on Tuts Plus. And you can also just install WordPress and have a look at the default themes they make, how it's coded, how it's structured, what kind of files you need. Just open that up, get every single PHP file in there, look over the code, try to make sense of it. What you don't understand, search on the web, search on the codex, and after some time you'll begin to understand things. And after that, well, it's about getting to work and actually trying to build your own. And as resources, I can link a few courses here from Tuts Plus. There's also a course called Guide to Your First WordPress Frameworks by yours truly, and that shows you exactly how to build a WordPress theme. Right, so
I think
it's only a framework, so we don't really have any styling. It's just the basic stuff.
I think to master also the WordPress template hierarchy will be essential for building theme. So I have a link here to show you the WordPress template hierarchy. It's really crucial in order to build a WordPress theme.
Yep. Yeah, it's true, because in WordPress you have all sorts of pages which, if they don't exist, will default to other pages. So it's important exactly what page you need to create in order to get the desired output. So the link Ibrahima shared is actually a very good one. So check that out. Okay, you're welcome, Tobin. If there are any other questions.
Adi, what about your last course about WordPress at Tuts Plus? I think it's for beginners. I haven't watched that yet.
Sorry, I didn't catch the first part of your question.
I say, what about your course about your last course about WordPress theme? I think it's for beginners.
Yeah, it is for beginners.
Okay.
Okay. I'm guessing you would be interested in a more advanced course.
Yeah,
Start to finish, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's a very popular demand, and I won't say too much, but something like that is planned. So I will be working on something like that. Either it's going to be a course or like a series on Tuts Plus, which will be available for everyone. That's still to be determined, but I do plan on making a course from start to finish, a WordPress theme. I don't have a date for it yet, but it's coming.
Okay. But I truly love the intro.
The video intro.
Yeah.
It's something that
it was original.
Original in what way?
Not different from your other courses.
Different, yeah. Well, It's actually not just the intro. I have, live footage in every single lesson now. So
Okay.
the lessons are a combination of live footage plus screencast. So,
Okay.
I kind of wanted to eliminate the time when I would be speaking and you would be seeing an empty display or a
Screen.
desktop page
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
so yeah, everything that's not happening on screen is happening on live. It's me
Okay.
talking basically, so
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
cool.
So me too, I'm recording right now a tutorial about landing page
Mm-hmm.
design, where I design and build a landing page from scratch, from Sketch to HTML and CSS. It will be released soon.
Oh, nice. Just send me a link when you get that. I'll be really interested to see it.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's funny because I've just finished a course about landing page design. So
Really?
yeah. Well, I don't know exactly the publish date, but
Okay,
only I'm not coding it. I'm basically explaining the principles behind landing page design and then
okay,
designing one in Sketch.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So mine, I designed and built it from the ground up with HTML and CSS without using any framework like Bootstrap or Foundation.
Uh-huh.
Just
Nice.
yeah, just CSS3 with a Flagbox and SVG and so on.
Uh-huh. Flexbox, you said?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. That's for pretty modern browsers.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What is the um, supported
Browser.
support for browser
Yeah,
support for different
it's supported pretty well now. Let me
oh
see. Yeah, can I use .com?
yeah, it's what I'm looking at right now. It's IE 11 supports it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
IE 10
Like
partially supports.
IE10 basic support, IE11 and so on.
Yeah, and the rest supported. Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty good
and the
actually.
rest, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think this was adopted more recently because I was looking at it a couple of months ago, and
mhm.
I think IE 10 wasn't supported.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've tested the page on IE11 because I have Parallels installed on my machine. So I've tested the page and it was supported well, very well,
Cool. Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
in all browsers.
By the way, if anyone is interested, this is the tool, caniuse.com. It's a
Can I
tool
use?
you can use to test the browser support for different CSS properties.
Exactly.
That's a very useful tool. So if you're building coding something and you want to use certain properties, but you got to be restrictive in terms of browser support,
Mhm.
then this is something you got to check first.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions? Okay, well, if you don't, I'd like to show you something. I'm not sure if you saw it on Tuts Plus. It's an open assignment, and I'll just link you there right now. So basically, this is related to the WordPress course, Designing for WordPress, and that course showed how to design a WordPress theme in Sketch. Now the assignment will give you those source files, and it's basically your job to design a few remaining, like the search results page 404 and so on. So definitely check that out. It's really cool. And if you want, you can post your results in the comment section below the post.
Cool. I haven't seen it, but I'm going to do the assignment.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to kind of work on someone else's, or do work yourself based on someone else's work. Once you have the source files, and this is something you might be confronted as a web designer.
Yeah.
Like if you're working for a firm and they have a designer that's not left, you're stuck with his project, so you got to use his files. So this is a good exercise for that.
Yeah.
Well, we have fewer people in today's episode compared to the last one. I don't know if it's a Friday. Maybe it's because it's a Friday night, or maybe people are just not interested anymore. I guess the next one I'll put it on a Monday evening, just to test things out. Two a.m. at night there, Tobin? Wow. That's really late. It's only 8:43 p.m. here. So I think I'll do, for next time, I think I'll do a survey, and just like I did for this episode, to ask you guys when would you prefer, at what time. Toby here says in the chat that it's 2 a.m. there, and many of his friends who want to join probably can't do it because of the late time. What time is it for you, Ibrahima?
Oh, sorry, I disabled the microphone. I said 6 p.m.
Oh, 6 p.m. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so just so we don't sit here and do nothing, I have a topic that I would like to talk with you guys today, and everybody can just chime in. And it's something that people actually suggested. It's about motivation and good work and how to become best in your field, even if you're a freelancer and you work from home and you have clients that don't understand your work. This is more or less what one of our friends here said. So I would like to ask you guys first, what exactly motivates you to create good work, and what are the steps that you're taking in order to get there to the top? So just feel free to jump in.
Okay, nobody.
It seems nobody, no.
So I start.
Okay.
Okay, but I talk about my personal experience. So I start designing in Photoshop back in 2007 when I was 18. So it's just one friend of mine who draw something, who create something on Photoshop, and he told me about the program. I was on Windows, so I've installed Photoshop and follow some tutorials. And then I realized that I have this passions for creating things. So I learned some design principles. Okay, and after that, I was already studying at school. So after, I don't know how you call the let me see. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, here it's called baccalaureate. I don't know the equivalent, but
yeah, so it's like an exam you take when you
yeah,
finish college.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. So after that, I had this need to bring my mockups to life. So I was doing web design, but I was just sticking on Photoshop for laying out some web pages, etc. So I I I want to learn HTML and CSS in order to translate, to bring my mockups to life. So I've learned it: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. And so I pick your courses, of course, from PSD to HTML, and that helps. I remember that helps a lot. So I was really looking forward in you release a new course about HTML and CSS and JavaScript and stuff like that, PSD to HTML. So I've watched all those things, and so I'm able easily to translate whatever it's sketch mockup or PSD mockup to HTML and CSS. So after that, I had my first job in a web design company where we build Joomla template and WordPress template. So we were building many templates for clients. After that, I left for another company, but there I was doing backend stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've learned PHP and a framework called Laravel. So I build web applications there, and in my side projects also I've built some web applications. So that's it. I was basically doing front end and back end development. So now I work as a freelancer. So yeah, it's that for me. But what's really really helped me focus on my job, it's I turn off all distractions like social media, yeah, and emails and stuff like that. So I have an app called Self-Control. I don't know if you guys know. Self-Control, let me search the link here. Self-Control. It's a Mac app. You enter an amount of time, and you enter also some sites like Facebook, Twitter, and so on, and it's blocked those sites for you, so you can focus on your job.
Oh, okay, that's very nice.
Yeah, I just passed the link here.
Yeah, thank you.
So I think, yeah, in order to be more productive, you have to really focus on what you do, turn off all distractions, and keep focusing on what you do. Either it's studying or learning new things or experimenting new things like some programs like Sketch or Photoshop or whatever you want, but just keep focusing on what you do and dive deep.
Yeah, I agree, and thank you for sharing that, Ibrahima. It's a very important thing to eliminate all distractions when working. Apps like Self-Control obviously helps you. And another app or / technique that I'm using is called Pomodoro technique.
Yeah, I use it also.
You use it also?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean,
yeah,
I've been I started to become way more productive since I started using it.
Yeah, exactly.
And for those of you who don't know, basically you divide your work into chunks of time, and you take frequent breaks every 15, 20 minutes. It depends how you want to set it up. The default there is, I think, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I've changed mine to 50 minutes with a 15-minute break.
Yeah.
And, it really depends. You got to fine tune it to your own needs. And for me, I found it works best when I work, for like 50 minutes and then I have a short break. And that's definitely something that you can check out to improve your productivity.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm agree with Adi. The Pomodoro techniques is a really good one, and actually I'm building an iPhone app for that. It's
for Pomodoro?
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. where you enter a task you want to achieve, a set of time like 15, 20, or so on.
Mm-hmm.
And you start and you keep focusing on what you do, not like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Someone else joined us and said hello in chat. So hello, Bayram Alak.
Bayram Alak.
Bayram Alak. Hello. Yeah, so for everyone who just joined, we were talking about motivation and how to do good work. And Ibrahima here shared some of his experience with it. So if you guys want to jump in and tell us about, why you're being motivated to do what you do and what you're doing to become better at your job, just feel free to chime in.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Hello, yes.
Thank you for making this the second episode. I was the first one. It was very useful, and here I have my question. How can I make my WordPress theme to require some plugins? Meaning, once you install it, it requires some plugins to continue, meaning to functional, to be 100% functionality. I mean, once you install your WordPress, it asks the client to install some third-party plugins.
So you're building a theme that you want to sell?
For example, yes.
Okay, and then that theme depends on some plugins and you want to install them automatically?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a thing called, let me see if I can remember. Yes. There's a thing called TGM plugin activation that you can include in your theme, and basically you create a list of dependencies. You list which plugin you need to install and you give it a source. Either it's a folder in your theme or it's an external source. And when someone installs that theme, he'll get a notice that he needs certain plugins for the theme to work. And there are two modes for it. You can either require a plugin or simply recommend it. So if you know that your theme is, it needs that plugin, it's crucial for that theme, then you need to require it. If not, you can just recommend it. And installing the plugin is really simple. I mean, it gives you all the installation steps there. You just gotta write a simple function, a call in functions PHP, and include the plugin files, and that's basically it. And actually, this is the recommended way on ThemeForest if you're planning to submit your theme for sale. If you're using extra plugins, this is the recommended way of doing it.
Yeah, thank you. I got the link also here. I don't know if I can put one more question.
Yeah, sure.
For you as well.
There are no limits of questions here, so.
Yeah, thank you. For you as web designer, which plugins you recommend for the developers to include in their themes to sell them in ThemeForest? The most popular plugins, meaning what you say about it?
To be honest, I don't have any WordPress themes for sale on ThemeForest, but if I were to sell a theme right now, I would include as few plugins as possible. Don't create any extra dependencies for your theme. Just keep it simple. And the more plugins you require, the more complicated it's going to be to maintain later on, and the higher the chance of crashes. So, I would recommend not to include too many plugins. Just stick with the basic ones. If you're going to do like a theme panel for customization and such, use the customizer instead, because it's a default WordPress feature instead of an external plugin. And probably, with plugins, you could do one for shortcodes, I guess, if you plan on using them. I guess that's it. It really depends on your theme, though.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have another question. I don't know if the guys here they want, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
For people who following you, okay, mic for you, sir. You can put your questions, please. Mr. Ibrahim.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Adi, for people who following you and watching your blog, the blog on the way you design, you don't use the bootstrap completely, meaning you use the custom download.
Yes.
So is that affecting the speed of opening the page when you open your page if you install all the bootstrap framework?
Yeah. Well,
it's important to customize what you need?
Yes, I think it's important, because if you just need a very single tiny piece of JavaScript from Bootstrap and maybe just a grid, you can get those two files instead of getting the whole package, which will load a bunch of JavaScript and a bunch of CSS for nothing, basically, because you're not using them. So only load what you need and what you're using. And it's, if you're thinking about page speed, page load speed, then that's important. But also think about maintenance and stuff, because if you have a very simple website which has maybe a single JavaScript file, which has a single jQuery plugin or something, like a carousel, that's much easier to maintain compared to when you have the entire Bootstrap library. If that makes sense.
I think you don't have to use those frameworks like Bootstrap or Foundation for everything. So this is particularly why I love Foundation, because there you can look just the part you need, and yeah, you can do the same thing on Bootstrap, but with Foundation, the framework is really customizable. So you just load what you need.
Yeah, true. And of course, depending on the complexity of your website, if it's something very simple, you might be better off just doing it yourself and don't worry about Bootstrap or Foundation.
Or Foundation, yeah, exactly.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I'm listening carefully.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I believe I can put more questions, because it's very important.
Yeah, sure.
To see you live. Okay. Yeah. If I want to sell my theme, to prepare my theme for ThemeForest, it's important to include PSD file. Let's say HTML theme or WordPress theme. PSD file is required, and for how many pages? The home page, blog, or for all entire site? That's my question. To be accepted, I mean.
To be accepted, I'm not sure you need to include PSD files. Personally, from my experience, I've always seen these as a bonus that you offer to the client, but they're not actually required, as far as I know. I might be wrong, though. The best way for you to learn about this is to create a support ticket to ask Envato directly. is this required, or simply post a question on the forums.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Mhm. Yes, Tobin says in chat that PSD files you can include for bonus. Yes. I mean, if we think about it, a lot of people that buy a WordPress theme, they're not really interested in the PSD because they're not going to change the PSD and then recode the theme afterwards. So I don't know. Personally, I don't see the point in including them. I did include them as a bonus, but
No, I don't speak. I'm not speaking about client point of view. My point is if, to be accepted in Vato or in ThemeForest environment.
yeah, I know.
If maybe it's one of the conditions to be accepted. This was my questions.
Oh, as far as I know, no, it's not a condition. For
Yeah.
at least for a WordPress theme. Of course, if you're uploading to the PSD category, then you got to upload the PSD files. But other than that, I don't think it's required.
Is it required for WordPress theme?
I don't think so.
I
No.
don't think so. Oh, I
No.
understood. Another question is, Mr. Adi,
Yes.
uh, for WordPress, which framework is the better or the best to start build your theme? Underscore or somebody or something else?
So you mean
Or you
like
code your
like
framework from scratch?
like WordPress framework, right?
WordPress framework, yeah.
Um,
Start build your theme.
yeah. I think it's best you create your own from scratch because you have much more control then instead of relying on someone else's code. That's something I prefer to do. And I think it's important. You can have your GitHub repository. You can update it. You know what you did there. It's much easier to troubleshoot if something goes wrong. Whereas if you're using someone else's code, it's going to take you much longer to find maybe an error they made. So yeah, definitely go with your own code.
Yeah, I,
Okay.
I understood.
Yeah, I have the same advice like Adi, but once you understand how a WordPress theme works, you will want something more customizable, or you will want to build your theme quickly. So you can use underscore, which is a WordPress starter theme, and it's built by the team under WordPress. So it's a quite popular starter theme, and you can use it and yeah, in order to accelerate your development process.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Okay, you're welcome. So I come back in a few minutes.
Okay. We have another question from Tobin. Why bigger than Magento? What's the point? Well, they are two different things, so I'm not sure you can compare the two. Magento is for e-commerce, whereas WordPress is for, it's a blogging platform, basically. So, and even though you can create e-commerce themes using WordPress or e-commerce sites, it's not its intended purpose, whereas Magento that's what it's designed for. So not really sure how you can compare the two. Hello, Ahmad. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thanks, I'm good. I watched your latest course and I really enjoy it as usual.
Yeah, the designing for WordPress.
Yeah, it's really cool and helpful. And I start using Sketch.
Cool. So how do you find Sketch compared to Photoshop, I guess you were using?
Yeah, I think it's much easier, and I'm thinking somehow it's specific for UI designer, not like Photoshop. You can use it for photo editing, etc.
Yeah, exactly. It's made for UI.
Yeah, I think it's really cool and easy to use because I also watch your course Sketch.
Yeah. Did you check out the assignment from the course?
No, not yet. I'm watching this slowly because I repeat the video more than one time, so I can remember everything. I almost watched 3 courses at the same time. I watched your course to create adaptive website. Do you remember this course?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
series on web design tests, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I can remember how to create a responsive website and apply it to WordPress using Sketch. So it would be perfect, I think.
Yeah. So you're combining all of these three into
Yeah.
one big learning resource.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and I wish in upcoming courses you create something like something related to how to use less or pseudo element or CS tricks because for me you are the best instructor or the best teacher on Tatsi Plus. If you asked why, because I know that you are working a web designer and you
For me
already
also.
for you also. Yeah, you are correct. He's the best teacher in web design. That's so. If you asked why, because I feel that you are know exactly what people want. Your course is exactly telling what web designer wants. So it's like how to create something on Photoshop and convert it to HTML and CSS. So this is exactly what beginner or web designer wants. So your course is always to the point.
Okay, I see. Well, thank you very much for your appreciation. I'm glad that my courses can reach people and help them, as always. And yeah, I plan on doing more and more, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
I recently did a landing page course, so that should be coming up soon. That helps.
Yeah, for me, I always have doubts like what exactly I'm doing or what exactly I have to call myself. I'm a graphic designer, interactive designer, interaction designer, UI designer, front-end developer. There are a lot of names in the market now, but I think I want to be something like you. I know exactly what I know from the code, not everything, and not pure designer. So it's like I'm hybrid designer.
Yes. Yeah, basically a web designer, right? You know, a little bit of design, a little bit of coding, so you're somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But since when you are coding, or since when you are working as a web designer? I think long time ago.
Oh, yeah, there are a couple of years, I think about 7, I would
Oh,
say 7 or 8. I'm not exactly sure. I just lost track because I've been working all this time. But yeah, I initially started, as I was saying earlier, as I was, I started as a logo designer, design a few logos, and then I moved on to coding stuff. So it's been a while.
yeah, I think I'm like you. I don't like brands anymore or print out stuff anymore.
Mhm.
Uh, but for me, I'm following you a long time ago since your first course in web design, that, and I can feel now that you also more comfortable, and because the first course for you in web design that was creating corporate website, I remember.
Corpora, yes, yes.
Yeah, and somehow it was your first course, and you was, I don't want to say like you was afraid, but because that was your first time, so you was a bit confused, but now you are more comfortable, and you are much better now. And I also see, even you are a teacher, also you learned from teaching other people, because you start with like creating mock-up, creating the code, but now your code even more clear, you are using less, so also you're learning from teaching. So I think I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, making tutorials was a very good decision that I made because I've learned so much, not just because of the research I'm doing for each course or each tutorial, but also from, meeting with people like you and with these hangouts and learning new stuff. It's always, I mean, it's a continuous learning experience for everyone, even for me, even for, the best of the best in every field in this life. It's always going to be like that. You'll always have something new to learn. And yeah, compared to the corporate tutorial, that was actually the very first tutorial that I made. And the funny thing is, um, I didn't actually consider editing at the time, so I had to do the whole thing in one go. And so I was, messing up like halfway, and I didn't want to, edit it. So I had to redo it, and I would start over. And what you saw there on Corpora was actually, I think, my third attempt, which I got right. And it was a long tutorial, so I was feeling a bit tired and
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying
nervous at
that.
some point.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it was not good tutorial. It was very useful. I guarantee for you. Don't worry about that. But my point is that the benefit for both, for us as students and for you as a teacher. So this is something great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very true. And I keep learning things to this day.
Yeah. Um, to be honest, now because I'm working as a UI designer, I don't know if you are, for sure you are familiar with the CS3 animation and all this stuff, but in your tutorial, sorry, I don't see
Yes.
that you use a lot of animation, or the scrolling, one scrolling bar page where you can find everything animated. I want to ask if you don't like this kind of style, or
Well, it's a little bit of personal bias there. I don't like overcomplicating things, right? So if we can add an animation very subtly to an element, that's good. But don't go overboard with it and use it everywhere in the page. Um, that's why I don't use it often. I prefer to keep things very simple.
Exactly. But for me, I would love if you have a course about like a pseudo element and how to use them because they are very helpful and you don't need to use images sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, they can have their purpose. Pseudo elements. I'll say I think I had a tutorial at some point. Can't remember about pseudo elements. I might be wrong though. Maybe I just thought I would make a tutorial and I didn't get around to it. But yeah, I'll definitely consider it. I have a big list of tutorials and courses that I want to do, so I'll just add that to the list.
So, do you spend most of your time now working on the tutorials, or also you have like a client beside your working in Envato?
No, no, my entire work is focused on Envato right now. I am working on some themes that I want to sell on ThemeForest. And that's like a part of my time. The other part goes to tutorials and courses.
And
So,
I just want to ask you, if you don't want to answer this question, it's up to you. I feel that you don't like to work in a company or in an agency because you don't have this thing like have a boss and all this process. You want to be free. I don't know if I'm correct or no.
I dislike the idea of being an employee, right? I mean, even with Envato right now, I'm working basically as a freelancer. I'm a collaborator, not an employee. So I like being a freelancer and choosing my own projects and choosing who I work with, rather than, being an employee and being told what to do. That I don't like. I've been an employee. I'm not going back there.
Ah, okay. You,
I mean, I don't mind, taking direction from somebody else, from competent people, um, and, playing ball basically. If they have a project and they have everything laid out and they want my help, designing or coding stuff, then, I don't mind using or taking advice from them. But, I generally prefer taking advice from people that know what they're talking about. So to give you an example, I had a client that this was a while back when I was still having clients. The client, basically was telling me how to write CSS, and he didn't really have a clue. So that kind of stuff, I don't really tolerate. So I guess that's one of the reasons I don't work with clients anymore.
yeah,
There are a lot of experts, around. So
because sometimes I ask myself, is it better to work as a freelancer and you learn from yourself, or you will learn fast if you work in a company and with a team? So sometimes I feel there is advantage and disadvantages for work as a freelancer or.
um, I think there are two different things here. So working in a team and working in a company as an employee, right? Because if you're working in a team as a freelancer, that's totally fine. A team allows you to do a lot of things. Nowadays, you can't really achieve much if you're just flying solo. So if you're a freelancer and you have the option to work in a team, let's say on ThemeForest, if you want to partner with someone to sell themes or something, that's a much better choice than working on your own. But as far as the difference between being an employee and being a freelancer, where you're kind of, if you're an employee, you're sacrificing your freedom basically for a steady income. Whereas as a freelancer, you have more freedom, but you're taking bigger risks because you could have bad months, you could have good months. So you might not always have a steady income. But you know, it's up to you to decide what's best for you and what you feel more comfortable doing. Most often, as a freelancer, you're going to work more hours than when you're employed, but you're working for yourself, for your dreams, not for someone else's dreams.
Exactly, this is important says.
Yeah. You know, it's the freedom comes with a price eventually. So
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you're correct. You have sometimes to sacrifice, or as you mentioned, sometimes you could have a good month or you could have a bad month, but like for sure, this is what you are gonna get because there's nothing stable during your whole life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and this is why we learn from this life.
yeah, it's life, you know.
Yeah, it's like
And it's always it's important if you're a freelancer, you got to get some sort of some source of passive income. And Theme Forest is a great example for this, right? Because if you have a few themes for sale, then you know those themes will generate revenue, even if you know you don't have to work every month for them, except of course support and stuff like that. But once you put them up, they're gonna start giving you passive income. So that's always a good thing as a freelancer.
yeah,
Whereas if you're an employee, well, you don't really get that, do you? As an employee, you gotta get there in the office from morning to
yeah,
4 p.m., 5 p.m., do your work and go home, and you get paid at the end of the month. But
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I agree with you. Have you ever tried to upload a theme to ThemeForest and they reject it?
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't have too many themes uploaded. Um, But yeah, I've had I think let's see, one, two, I think two or three were rejected.
Hmm.
So you know, as I said, it's life. You know, you
Yeah,
win some, you lose some.
yeah. Yeah, someone asked why.
Yeah, why? Well, you know, there weren't high enough quality. I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I always receive the same message. They send you an automatic message that we suggest that you take care of the line height,
yeah.
with all these instruction. But I think to upload BSD theme is much harder than uploading WordPress theme.
Hmm. Yeah, I've had one of the items that was rejected was actually a PSD theme. So I guess they are more strict there. They have higher standards compared to other categories. So,
Yeah, you're correct.
but you know, they shouldn't this shouldn't stop you even if you get rejected once. You should, you know, just keep going. You can ask any of the top authors on Theme Forest, and I'm pretty sure they had a theme rejected at some point.
Yeah, I checked that on the forms, and yeah, you can find some of them get rejected.
Yeah, it's
So your upcoming projects about creating a landing page, because you already have a course about creating landing page and creating coming soon page, but this new one will be something following the new trend, or it will be the same.
um, you know, it's not about trends. This one will focus on the principles behind landing page design. So, what structure does it need to have? Why does it need that structure? You know, what's a little bit of information about conversion and how uh, optimize your page affects your income, stuff like that. So I go into the whys of landing page design, and also then I design one in Sketch.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's basically it. And there's also going to be an open assignment to that.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of making one page, and then there's another wireframe made for another page, which is up to you to design using the files from the first one. So
Okay, this is cool. Yeah, for me, I would love to see more courses about this stuff, like creating a landing page, uh, something related to UI design, and as well the code part. It would be perfect because most of the courses nowadays on Tuts Plus focused on the code, on the real code, or in the hard code.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
I don't.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
You invited us.
Yeah, you invited us.
I did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. When do we start?
Thomas, can you mute yourself on Skype, please?
Yeah. There we go. Right. So what do we do? What do we do? This is fun.
I like
We all got
rainbow.
invited. I can't wait. What are we doing? What are we doing? I can't wait. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just never been on hang up before. I can't wait.
Hello.
Can you please mute yourself on Skype there, Debbie?
Okay, Mr. Abdi, can I put my question, please?
Well, I was invited.
Can you hear me?
Yes, just hold on one sec.
We have some.
Tom Baker.
Hello.
So people, anyone have a
Okay.
question?
Which part you are comfortable with, Mr. Adi?
No.
Coding part or designing part for your?
How
you.
dare you? Do you have no respect?
Hold on just a sec, guys.
Okay.
Right, I'll just
I
go.
have a few.
I thought just the
Okay.
new designers just came.
Yeah, or just people who were, looking to have a good laugh, apparently.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, your question, please.
I asked you which part you are comfortable with, the designing part or the coding part. Designing in Photoshop to create in your meaning with your imagination, how you mix the colors, how you do something creative.
Yeah.
For me, this is the most difficult than the coding.
The coding is more difficult for you?
No, to
the
create the
Photoshop.
design in Photoshop.
Okay.
Like how you can, I'm speaking about myself. How can I mix the colors? How can, I don't know. But I'm asking you, which part is more difficult for you? Takes you more time.
Well, definitely the design part takes more time, but it's also the part that I enjoy the most. For me, coding came as a bonus, as an added thing to the design part, because I also wanted the ability to code all my designs. So I'm comfortable with both, but I like designing more. I like playing with colors, with different fonts, with different layouts, trying to figure out like new solutions to design problems. So
Yeah, I see. Which program I believe use Photoshop, but what about Illustrator?
I don't use Photoshop anymore, actually. I've switched to Sketch. I have a couple of months, I think.
Yeah.
And I use that primarily as my design software right now. I use Photoshop, every now and then to open my older files, but that's pretty much it. Illustrator, I don't know much about Illustrator because I haven't used it that much, except grabbing icons from different icon packs and stuff. So I couldn't tell you. But what exactly are you looking for, like an application for UI design, or?
No. I want to start like you. So I'm looking for what you did or what you comfortable with.
Okay.
To follow you. That's it. That's my idea.
Okay. Well, personally, I'm comfortable with Sketch right now. It's an amazing application. So if that's what I would recommend, if someone would ask me, hey, I want to go into web design, I want to design stuff, what would you recommend for websites and stuff? Well, I would say Sketch. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, because you decided that after a long time of experience. So we are new in this field. You are searching for shortcut. You see the people who they are succeed, and we follow them. Like just from laziness.
I'm not sure that applies to which design software you use, right? Because a design software needs to empower you, right? Needs to give you the ability to create what you want to create fast and easy. You don't have to use Photoshop for 2 years and not be as effective just to use Sketch afterwards, just so we can say, oh, I didn't skip a step. That's not important. If Sketch helps you do your job, fine, fast, efficient, then use it.
And I think it's not that hard to switch from Photoshop to Sketch because you already have the principle for using Photoshop as a web designer. So Sketch will be like just different icon to use or different tabs to use, and you will do the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it's like switching cars basically. You're a driver, you've been driving your car for 2 years and then you switch to a new one, but the principle is the same, right? You have a steering wheel, you have a gear shift, and you have pedals. It's just a different interior, and maybe you have like air conditioning and stuff, maybe you have new features, but yeah, it's the same principles.
Yeah, the same principle. But do you call yourself a UX designer, or no, you just take UX design in consideration while you are designing something?
I just call myself a web designer.
I have a problem with this terminology. I don't know what I have to call myself.
I just say web designer. I design websites and stuff. And that involves, of course, user interface, and user experience is a very important part of this. So I don't think someone should entitle himself a user experience or a UX designer, specifically, because it's something that comes with the job.
Exactly. As I told you, this is a company problem. The visual designer. Okay, what's the difference between visual designer and UI designer? They are doing the same thing.
No, it's not actually the same.
Not the same. Yeah, what's the difference?
No, because a UX designer.
No, UI.
UI. Okay, the UI designer is the one who just care about the visual elements. Okay, like buttons, forms, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And in the other hand, a UX designer is the one who care about how the app or the program is used by the user. Okay, the usability and the interactions and so on. So it's not the same.
No, I was saying the same, the UI designer and the visual designer.
Okay, yeah, I think it's pretty much the same.
It's okay. Yeah, I know UX designer and UI designer, they are different. But for audio questions, have you ever designed a mobile application?
A mobile application? No. I've designed a mobile site for an e-commerce, if that's helpful. There's actually a course on it, but
Yeah.
no, mobile applications, no.
No. There is something new nowadays saying that if you want to design or if you want to start coding your design or start designing a website, start from the small screen to bigger screen because it's easier. You have like 2 columns instead of having 12 columns grid, let's say. And if you want, for example, to change a picture, it will be much easier from the smaller screen to bigger screen. But I see most of the designer, no, they designed for like in Twitter put Strawberry Grid and after that start using media query. I don't know which one is the correct. I mean, there is nothing correct or right, but I don't know which is the best.
I don't know. Personally, I prefer to do it the other way, like start big and go small afterwards. But it's what you feel comfortable with, I guess.
Mhm. Yep. This is a problem actually. You don't know which the best practice or uh, what are the things that you need to follow as a web designer. There are many things in the market nowadays.
Yeah, you got to be, updated with, with the current tools and with any kind of practice that will help you, get your project done faster. So it's very important.
Okay.
And there's also a question here. It's been asked by Scarto, and I just want to get this before we move to some other stuff. There are many CSS HTML conversion programs around, and everything seems to be getting automatic. Do you think that these programs are going to affect those who know how to code in terms of getting jobs? I think at a certain rate it will affect them, because people will just take a design, use a program, and then just get the HTML and CSS code without having to pay for an extra coder. But I don't think it's a very good solution long term, because if you need maintenance on that code, you're gonna have to hire a designer, a coder, or a front-end developer at some point. So
Yeah, I also agree with you. It's not good to use something to generate your code without doing anything, because I think it's the best things like you write the code with your hand. I used Dreamweaver before, and Dreamweaver we were using like the code, sorry, the design part, and in the design part, the code generated automatically. But after that, you discover that the code is really bad.
yeah, there are some applications that just get bad code, but there are some newer ones like Macaw, who actually output pretty good code. So as we start developing these new applications, code will start getting better and better. But ultimately, it's still good to have a developer around, because he knows how to code much better than a software. The software is designed to get stuff done faster, not necessarily in the best way. Okay, you're welcome, Scarto. Tobin, sure, you can ask a question anytime you want. Okay, so a question from Tobin. If we make just HTML template, other people can grab it easily. If we want to sell a theme, how to protect that? I see on ThemeForest that not use encryptor for that HTML template. Okay, so Tobin here actually addresses a known issue of today's marketplaces. Basically, when you're selling something, people can get it for free eventually by looking at your source code and copying it from there. And the thing is, if you're doing WordPress, that's much simpler because they don't have access to the source PHP files. But if you're doing an HTML template, they can get it very easily. And I don't think there's much you can do. If you see your theme, your HTML template that's being offered somewhere else for download, you can contact ThemeForest and announce or tell them, and they will contact the site administrator, asking them to take it down because it's a violation of copyright. But other than that, there's nothing really you can do, and it's not just about, viewing the source and copying your code. People can just simply buy your theme once, and then they can offer that free to download on some other websites. I know I've had my themes, I have 2 landing pages selling on ThemeForest right now, and I found both of them on a bunch of external websites for free download. So there's nothing much you can do about it.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Tobin.
Actually, it depends on the country that you're living in. I think you're living in Romania, and
yes, that's correct.
And you have, I don't know, strict rules about the copyrights and all this stuff.
I'm not exactly sure about my country's rules, but I don't know how they could intervene, given that I'm selling my themes on a marketplace that's not in Romania, and also the sharing sites that offers it for download are also not from Romania. So I'm not sure about their jurisdiction there.
Yeah, I'm living here in Germany, and they have really strict rules about copyrights.
Yeah, well, it depends, I guess, from country to country.
Yeah, you're correct.
You're welcome, Tobin.
Yeah, I also want to ask, which site do you usually go or visit for inspiration, or if you want to look for a solution? For me, for example, if I'm stuck with something, I go to Stackflow. But for you in general, from where you get your inspiration, or from where, or which developers you are following? Because for me, I also love the CSS Tricks website, Chris Coyier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Coyier, he's really good. So
yeah, for development, I watch Chris Coyier. I also watch Tuts Plus. They have some great tutorials and courses there. And for inspiration, I see Dribble there by Tobin. I do awards. I watch that site. They have some great examples of websites there. And yeah, those are my main sources of inspiration. But someone asked this question in the previous episode, and an answer that I gave them was you can find inspiration all around you. When you go to a coffee shop, you can see how the banners are made, how the logo is placed, what colors they're using, right? You're walking down the street, you see a sign in the window, it's the same thing. So you can find inspiration everywhere.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you can find a specific place where offers everything is good in this website. For example, there is a website where can you buy a very good book for web design, and I think the name
A Book Apart.
A Book Apart, yeah.
Yeah. A Book Apart. They have some great books. Smashing Magazine also has some great books. So yeah, I'll just link these so everybody can.
Okay. By the way, Adi, what books do you recommend for web design, UI design, and generally speaking, design?
Generally speaking, design. Well, one of my books that I read. Let me see if I can find a link here. Actually called Design for Hackers. Let's see if I can send you a link. Yes, this is the one, Design for Hackers.
Okay.
It's great information about typography, fonts, and stuff, and how to deconstruct designs. Other books, I could recommend Responsive Web Design by Ethan Marcotte, I think.
Ethan Marcotte, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the father of responsive web design, so that book is really good. What else? There's also a book on Smashing Magazine. If I can find it here. Let's see, books. This is an older book. I hope I can still find a link to it. No, apparently not. It's not being offered anymore. But you know, any book by Smashing Magazine, and also, you know, a book that helped me in understanding a lot of good stuff about how to do business and product design is the Steve Jobs biography, the official one by Walter Isaacson.
Okay.
And you can find a lot of cool information in there about how, you know, Steve Jobs basically created Apple and made it into what's today, and how the attention you give to products, you know, really help you. It's really a good book to read.
Okay. Do you have a link for that?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it right now. Okay, well, this is an audiobook actually, but
okay,
you just need to search for Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. That's the official biography. So
okay,
I definitely recommend it read.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, Tobin.
Good night, Tobin.
Oh, good night, good night. Oh, he already left. I didn't see the messages. So, Tobin, if you're watching this again, good night from all of us.
Good night, Tobin. Adi?
Yes?
What do you think about unicorns? For those who don't know, a unicorn is someone who can design and code. So when do you feel the need to code your mockups, to bring your mockups to life?
Unicorn, you said, like a big horse with the thing in the front?
Yeah.
Well, that's the first time I'm hearing about this. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's someone who can design and code.
Yeah, well, interesting. So when do I feel the need to code them?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, if it's necessary that I code them, like if I'm doing a thing for ThemeForest that I want to sell, then you know I need to code that. But I'm not exactly sure how to answer this.
Okay. So let me just pass a link here. Actually, there is a link on Tuts Plus about unicorns. Let me pass the link. Yeah. Okay.
My thoughts on unicorns, the mystical world of UX.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. I'll add it to my reading list here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Adi, do you have any idea about Gantry framework for WordPress? It's also for Joomla. I will.
No, I don't. Sorry.
But do you know it?
No. How is it
Okay.
called? Gantry?
Gantry, yeah, framework. You can write it in Google. And they started for Joomla, but lately they have also for WordPress.
Let's
Can
see.
you check it, please?
Yeah.
It has a bunch of widgets area and starter theme. Okay.
Okay, so based on Bootstrap with theme options, right? Built-in fields.
Yeah.
Widgets. Yeah, it looks like a pretty complex framework, but I've never used it before. I'm not really into using external frameworks for WordPress. Yeah, cool.
I just feel it is a little heavy or slow to function. I have another questions. In this specific Gantry framework, they compile less on the server. Do you have idea how to do that? Less or Sass? I mean, usually when you write your Sass, you compile it on your computer using Grunt or any other application, you know. But how to do that on the server side?
Yeah, there's a PHP script for that. It's let's see. There are actually more than one. The one I found here is called SCSS compiler. It's SCSS PHP. Basically, use that to compile Sass on your server.
Do you use it?
No. I've used one. I can't remember the exact script right now. I've used one before when I wanted to have theme options, and those options would transfer into Sass and into Less and be compiled into the final CSS file. But I've had a lot of issues with permissions and stuff for the files, and I think that was called Less PHP. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's by the same guys, by Lifo. It's called Less PHP. I didn't spend too much time with it though, because basically you need the proper permissions for that script to be able to write to files on your server. So I ended up just giving up and focusing on the customizer instead.
Okay, some themes or some template you can see in the API option, the gear option that do you know what I mean? And they give you some option of some colors which optional, for example green, red. When you choose one of these colors and will change the heading of your theme,
yeah,
and some buttons, something like that. Here I know you can make it with some data HTML5. It's based on data HTML5 when you put something on the HTML5 to switch between some specific CSS files. But the problem is I don't have any idea when they use the color picker, that you can change many degrees of the colors to change and to reflect on your theme, from the heading, some buttons, some section in your theme.
Yeah.
How you could do that?
Well, I don't know. I've never used that before, but I guess it couldn't be that hard. I mean, that color picker basically is a JavaScript control that returns a certain value, right? A color value. And I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to get that value and apply it on a specific JavaScript event to the elements you want. It shouldn't be too hard if you're just talking about the preview, right?
Yeah, a preview or theme.
Yeah.
Meaning some themes, they give you some optional colors, 5
Yeah.
colors. When you switch between them, it's very easy. You include some CSS files, and you switch between them.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The problem is, which I don't understand, or I don't have till yet any idea about, the color picker. You have bunch of colors, from green, many degrees of green, going to the red, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here, not about CSS files include. It's something with JavaScript, as you said. So can you, if you have any idea, some link or book or tutorial?
No, I don't have any links right now.
But at least you understand my idea, or just
Yeah,
not my idea?
Yeah, I mean, you have like a theme that has preview options, and you have a color picker, and you can choose the color, and it automatically updates the preview, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to do with JavaScript. When you pick a color from the color picker, there's an event that's being triggered.
Yeah.
When that triggers, you use jQuery, for example, to target all of the elements that you want to change. You add a CSS property to them, you change the color with the new value you picked. So, it shouldn't be too hard. In theory, when you actually start writing the code for it, you might forget a comma somewhere, and you're gonna cry in desperation until you find the error. But in theory, it sounds good. It sounds easy.
That's after you said we are in the half on the way, so just need to practice this. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Should be like this. It's just simply like this. Yeah.
Should be. Yeah. Let's see, any other questions?
No, for me, I don't have more questions, I think.
No.
Okay. Just looking forward for new courses. Maybe I can ask you, which one of your courses on TATSIP Plus you feel it was the most difficult course for you, or the most difficult course that you present for your audience?
Well, just bear with me for a second while I see a list of all my courses. Let's see. I think the most difficult was probably the SMAX course, which is called Introduction to SMAX, because there are some principles that I found, were a bit harder to explain. So yeah, I guess that was kind of the hardest one to present. That's the one right there.
Yeah, I watched this course, but after that I stopped because I have no idea.
No.
No, I mean
Still
it
nothing.
was yeah, no, for me because no, for me I get some information, but for me it's a bit advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean in Plus now they are not focused on normal courses like convert the BSD website to HTML and CSS. No, they are providing more high quality and advanced tutorial. Like one of your tutorial, using I cannot remember the exact name for the course, but it's like building your own library or something like that with JavaScript.
Essential JavaScript libraries.
Yes. That's
Yeah, it was new for me, and I like it, and I learned a lot from it, and now I can use many things from the JavaScript library. So it's more advanced, like converting static pages, because to be honest, static pages and somehow it's disappeared.
Yeah, every page nowadays has a bit of JavaScript in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, at some point you have to step out of your comfort zone and do, learn new stuff and try out new things. You can't always be doing PSD to HTML conversion.
Yeah. I think in some point we will, because I'm doing my master in integration design or human design center, call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. We are focusing on stuff like designing for the human and how this technology will be in the future. Like in 10 years, we will still creating web pages, or what kind of web paging, or how is the future of web design, or for this kind of technology. For sure, it won't be the same, but somehow we are doing some research how it will look like and this stuff. So I agree with you. The static pages now it's almost disappeared, and we are moving to something new. And I mean, in this industry, how I'm gonna say it, this industry in web design and coding and all this stuff, you can find something new almost each month or each week, and you cannot catch everything at the same time. It's like a revolution. It started in 2009, I believe, and I think in somehow or in some of our research, we found that people will start in the future maybe coding for Google Glasses, for example. So we start thinking how we will code for these things, and I think it's interesting in somehow.
Yeah, I mean, web design has to be related to the current technology. Like it's with mobile phones, with tablets, and all kinds of gadgets that we now have with Google Glass, as you said. So yeah, that's why we constantly need to be updated with the latest news on technology, and we need to be prepared, and we need to learn beforehand how to work with these devices.
Yeah, correct. But I think because I read an article on Tatsi Plus, how people, or how Tatsi Plus, let's say, expected web design field will be in 2015, and they didn't expect that much. It will be the same, but with some new features in Sketch. I mean, they thought Sketch will have more audience or more users. The trend will be the same. People will focus more on user experience. So there are not many things will change in 2015, but in the upcoming years there will be new things will appear, in my opinion.
Yeah. Personally, I'm looking forward to that, to seeing what the future brings us.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I have to go, and it was a pleasure talking with you and with all you guys. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ahmad. I'll see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Mr. Adi. I have another question, please.
Yes.
There is application named Artisteer. I believe you have idea about it. Artisteer.
Art.
To creating WordPress and Joomla themes, templates.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. Can you send me a link?
Okay, I will. Just 1 second.
Okay. Artisteer.com. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Automated web designer. That's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, we use this tool in order to build Joomla templates.
Really?
I use it. Yeah, I used it a few years ago, but yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool.
So basically, it's like a visual builder?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see.
You set the styles and the links, the layout, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So you had a question about this, Bayram?
Yes, Mr. Adi. My question is, if you create theme by this application, and after that you modify it and you add some Sass, to be accepted in ThemeForest, is this working? But I don't know. I don't believe you can answer me now because you don't have any idea about it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what kind of code it generates. So
usually it's using
generate a really sloppy code.
Oh, yeah.
This is the only thing I can tell you.
He's the expert here.
Yeah, I know. It seems yes. And I give you here a link to show some demo what this program could generate. The question is in general, this application on anything else,
Yes.
to create this kind of themes, then you develop it or how you want. Is this working to be your specific, after that, to be your specific theme, to sell it in your name? Is this accepted? Or you need to build your theme from scratch? I know you prefer that to be from scratch, even the framework. But you're speaking about the criteria, about, I believe you got me.
I think the folks at the review team are more interested in the quality of the code rather than the application you use to write it. Either it's an automated stuff like this or you wrote it from scratch, right? So good code is good code.
Yeah.
If an application can generate that for you, that's great. But there aren't, in my opinion, any application that can generate code as good as you can write it yourself. So the guys at ThemeForest will probably not accept it if it's bad code. Again, it doesn't matter if you wrote it or it's generated by Artisteer here or any other application.
I see.
Okay. Bayram, just in addition to what Adi says, I think the best thing you can do right now in order to sell your WordPress theme is actually to learn theme development. You go from scratch. You learn some. You read some documentations, okay, about WordPress theme, WordPress templates, and you dive into this this process. You're gonna learn some interesting things. You're gonna learn a bunch of new things, but it's okay. At the end, you will sell your template.
Yeah, exactly as Mr. Adi said. It's the best solution for that, to write your code from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
After that, in case any problem, you face any problems, you know what you did and what you should do.
Yeah.
Rather you are searching and don't know what's going on. it will be easier to debug your code than rather the others code.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
We have questions, Adi, on
the chat here?
Yeah, on the chat.
Okay, so a question from Tom Meck. You have certain skills, you know, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, where or how to start? For what exactly? To get clients or to get projects, or what exactly do you mean, Tomek? So getting your first job and finding clients. Okay. Well, it's been asked previously at the start of this session. Where do you start? You can start very easily on, for example, Envato Studio, because they offer this platform between clients and developers that you can use. And it's linked there. And Tomek is asking about my story. Well, I've already said it, but I'll do it again really, really short. I started as a logo designer. I did an initial logo for a couple of friends, and they had this nonprofit organization, and then they asked me to do a website, and that was the first website that I made. And after that, I continued with the logo design, and I won a contest on CrowdSpring. I'm just going to link it again here. I won a contest there, and the owner of that contest asked me to do some freelance work for them. So that's how I started into coding. And after that, you know, I started getting more clients from CrowdSpring on coding, and that's basically it. I did link Byram. It's the link on the top there. About Tuts Plus. Well, Tuts Plus, I was looking for a tutorial on how to, you know, when I was first starting to learn code more and more, I was looking after a tutorial about a certain thing, and I found Tuts Plus. And then I saw that they didn't really have video tutorials, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, it would be so nice to have like a video tutorial where I could watch someone's screen just building something, design or code, whatever it is. And, you know, then I saw they were looking for contributors, and I thought, you know, hey, I can do a screencast or something that's, you know, I have this design, I have, you know, I know how to code it, and I can show others how to do it. So that's how it started, basically, with the Corpora template.
Cool.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Hey, Adi.
Hello.
Glad I could be part of this.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of interesting with the CrowdSpring, because usually, you know, designers don't really kind of like that idea of, you know, a client putting something out there and then designers kind of doing a contest. Do you still, like, am I okay with CrowdSpring, or have you kind of grown to not like that kind of idea now?
Well, I haven't worked with CrowdSpring in years now. And it's just, you know, I don't have time for it, and I have other projects that I tend to. But, you know, for a designer, basically, that is just entering this field and is not very well known, you know, it's a good opportunity to build a portfolio, get some clients, get some cash. So And there's also a site that's called 99 Designs. I don't know if you know about it. Down below. But yeah, it does. You know, this kind of collaboration does have its drawbacks because you can work for something and don't get paid.
All right.
It's a risk that you take.
Okay, Mr. Adi. For the jQuery plugin, the JavaScript jQuery.
Yes.
Which version you prefer? 2 or 1? 2 point something or 1 point for your project?
2 point something because I don't really need IE8 support. As far as I know, this was the major difference between the two because 1x still supports IE8 while 2x doesn't.
Can you say again, please? I didn't get it.
So
about the difference between them, two versions.
Yeah, the version 1x or up until version 2, it still supports Internet Explorer 8, while version 2 doesn't support it. I'm just going to check that real quick. I don't give you bad information. But yeah,
seems yes, yeah.
That's yeah. So Internet Explorer, yeah, jQuery 2x supports Internet Explorer 9 and above.
So in this case, if you want to build your WordPress theme, what you recommend us to use that jQuery which shipped with the WordPress, or we include the 2.x version?
No, you use the version that's shipped with WordPress.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's actually a requirement from ThemeForest if you plan on putting a theme there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very important.
WordPress already comes with a jQuery version. You just stick with that and okay. Just stick with that.
Yeah.
What version? Which version? 1.x?
I really don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but let me do a quick research.
I think so. 1.x.
Okay.
Probably that because they want to enlarge the browser support. Yeah. But Tomac also says that it's 1x.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it's confirmed. It's 1x. Tomac says in chat that you can get rid of the default version. You can choose to include a new one, but it's not recommended, you know.
Sure, you can do that in the function file.
Yeah, you can enqueue another script.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you should put it under condition not to be in the admin area, only in the theme, the specific theme. Because when you are in the admin area, you use 1.x. Otherwise, will be conflict between two versions.
Otherwise?
I said you should, when you include your, you put this under condition when you use 2.x when you are on the theme. On the browser, not on the back end, meaning when you're in the admin area.
Yes, yes, yes.
Should be under condition, meaning if you are something like that, not admin. Otherwise, will be conflict between two versions of jQuery. I believe that, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the case. I remember when I built one team for a client, I include a specific version of jQuery, but there were some conflicts with the two versions. So I just stick with the version that WordPress provide. It was fine for me.
Yeah. Plus, it's also easier on the theme. It's much smaller. It's much easier to manage if you don't have to include another script.
Exactly.
So it's kind of redundant.
Mm-hmm.
There's another question from Tomek. Adi, do you work alone or do you cooperate with anybody? Yeah, I'm currently cooperating with someone. More details about that will be coming later on.
What is the process, or what are the processes in order to be a contributor at Tots Plus, to record some screencasts for them, etc.?
Well, first you need to get in touch with the editor of the site you want to, contribute. Either, I'm guessing it's web design, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, in this case, you gotta get in touch with Ian Yates. He's the editor of the web design courses
and
tutorials, and basically you have to find a common ground, see if you have a good idea for a course, if they're looking for it, and then if you want to submit a screencast, you got to do a test video first, just to make sure the video or the audio quality is good and the video and so on.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that, it's between you and the editor. You got to find a good topic for a course or tutorial.
Okay, good. Thanks.
WordPress is built in PHP, but now there's all the new advent of the technologies like Node.js and JavaScript asynchronous. Do you see WordPress ever kind of switching to something more like that, or sticking with PHP for the long run?
I don't know what to tell you there, really. I'm not really an expert on PHP, so I don't know what to tell you. But, one thing that I do know is that all these newer technologies that allow us to do things much faster and better and more efficiently, will eventually be adopted by all the big players. So who knows? We might.
Yeah, I actually find the Node.js, because it's all asynchronous, to be a lot more challenging than just straight up PHP.
Yeah, and a lot faster also. It's more faster than PHP.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we might see it as really complicated now, but at some point, I think WordPress in itself was also really complicated, and building things for it was looking very complicated. But nowadays, it's
it's very stressful work now.
Mainstream, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mr. Adi,
yes.
Can you tell me about Way or Plugin or any third party, or your opinion, how to make professional access level and theme for in WordPress? For example, the normal user, he can enter this page, but the editor, he can enter only this page, meaning something like that. Meaning the menu itself, this available for normal user, and this menu available for the editor or the authors, meaning access panel, or people who paid or not.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea about it?
Yeah, well, You're talking about WordPress, right?
Yeah, WordPress.
Yeah, well, you can set certain roles, and you have certain functions in WordPress like is admin, and you can show various things based on the role of the user that's currently logged in. So that can be done.
I mean, how you can add more levels?
Well, there are a few levels like contributor, editor in WordPress backend. Not exactly sure if you can add custom ones, but you should be able to, I think.
Yeah, via plugins. Via plugins, it's possible via plugins. Just yeah, I just do a quick search here.
Okay.
I forgot the plugin's name. Let me just quick search it.
This article, for example, for instance, you have to pay to read it all. So once you pay, it will be open for you, and you can edit this page. But normal user, he cannot edit this page because he's not author.
Yeah.
That's my idea. Yeah, thank you.
I know what you mean. Let me just.
Well, in the meantime, we have some new questions. From Scar2, do you think WordPress will be able to outpace Drupal or Joomla as CMS in the future? I'm not exactly sure, but I think WordPress is really developing into something else other than a blogging platform. So who knows, we might. Another one from Tomek. What if you have JavaScript disabled in your browser? Would a site built on Node.js still work? Well, as far as I know, Node.js works on the server, not on the client, so it shouldn't be impacted on the JavaScript being disabled. I'm not a Node.js expert though, so I might be wrong. Let's see. Another one from Tom.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I for a long time trying to call. Okay, some for a network problem. Okay, I want to know that for beginners level, to become a web designer, is there HTML, CSS, and Photoshop only enough, or I need to know more some languages?
As a web designer, you mean to build themes and stuff?
Yes.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to build. If you want to build like really simple web pages, then you need HTML, CSS knowledge, maybe some JavaScript. If you're going to design them yourself, then of course you need Photoshop knowledge. But if you're going with something bigger than WordPress themes, then you also need PHP knowledge. So. Does that?
I think that they say that for the web designer is the Photoshop is and CSS must be good. Are you agree with it? The basic and advanced level also must be good.
So the Photoshop and CSS must be good? That's what you're asking?
Yes. Yes, yes. I mean, if you just do the design, if I want to become the very good in Photoshop and CSS, is there anything I mean for the resource to become a good level of designer? For in this case, because every time this one is the version is always updating. Now is CSS3, after that CSS4 coming, after that 5, like this. So how do I would I keep learning? Because let's say I know now CSS3, after that CSS4 coming, so that's why.
Yeah, well, it's a continuous learning experience. You learn something today, something new comes up, you learn that as well. You know, you don't have to settle on something ever. You gotta be hungry to learn new stuff. So, you know, a good resource, if that's what you're asking, you can check Tuts Plus, for example. You can find new articles there talking about new technologies and stuff. You can find courses. Also, you can get ebooks or books in general about design. Something good as a resource is a Book Apart. They have some great books right there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Byram, I just have the links for you. Okay. The first one and the second. Okay. With the first one, you can add other roles like subscriber, editors, and so on. And with the second one, the WP Super Edit, you can customize certain things like the admin area and so on. You can show or hide several things depending on the roles of the user. I think it was your question.
Yep, thank you for the links, Ibrahima. Tomek, to answer your question for the books, there are a few linked already in the chat, but I'll just relink them back here. And another question, this is a very interesting one from Tomek. If a client contracts you and wants you to create a website for him, how do you calculate the price? What do you take into consideration? So a while ago, there was this calculator on Freelance Switch, if I remember correctly, and you would input all sorts of data in there, and they would give you an estimate. But what you need to do is, first of all, calculate your own costs, and then you can decide on a price to ask the client, like if you're working by the hour or by the project, how long it will take you. You know, you got to consider the rent you're paying for your office, the kind of consumables you get, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't really worked by the hour. I've worked more on the project. So I don't really know what else to tell you there than consider all of your expenses and then factor those into the final price that you're asking the client. I'm not sure how helpful that is for you. Okay, you're welcome.
I'd like to add another book for Atomic if I could. I've been reading How to Design Everyday Things, or the Design of Everyday Things. That's a pretty good book. It's not specifically related to web design, but it kind of helps you think in a different kind of mindset that could help you in your design process. I've been really enjoying that one, so you might want to look at that. I'll link it in the chat.
Yeah, that'll be great. Thanks. Let's see, another question. Adi, have you tried Prepros? No, I don't know what it is. Let's see.
It's enough, just like a CodeKit or...
Ah, okay, so it's like a compiler. Okay.
Yeah, it's a compiler.
Now, for that, I use CodeKit.
Yeah.
It's been my go-to application for a long time, especially the new version. Version, I think it's 2.
Yeah.
Version 2, has some pretty cool features.
Yeah, like Bower and so on.
Yeah. You can also compile, if you have a WordPress site that's on PHP on your local machine, and you want to view it on your iPad, you can create like a link.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you can view a WordPress site from your local machine on your iPad or your iPhone.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
that is really nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I have another app like that. Let me, GhostLab. I don't know if you guys know GhostLab.
GhostLab, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to use Prepress, and I think it's one of the better ones. Free ones they can get. Obviously, CodeKit is paid and only for the Mac.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been using Gulp, which works pretty well. It takes a while to set up, and it's kind of like intimidating at first. But there's so much flexibility, and you can processes all your SaaS quickly. Can set up a server and stuff. That's a pretty good option if you're willing to take the learning curve with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. GhostLab. Here is a link.
If you're using Windows, there's also an application called WinLess. It's only for less, not for SaaS.
Okay. I've just passed the link for GhostLab. It's to preview your actual site in several devices like mobile or tablets or desktop.
Cool. So it doesn't matter if it's a local WordPress or...
No, it doesn't matter. You can...
That's very nice.
Mr. Adi, I want to ask you about some extension you are using when you are designing, when you're writing your code. It's shortcut for comment. When you do something and appear comment for when you comment your code.
Yeah.
What's the name of that extension for Sublime?
It's not an extension. I'm using the Sublime snippets actually, and it's built into Sublime Text. It's a tool that allows you to specify a keyword, and basically a filler text. So you type the keyword, you hit tab or some other keystroke, and it expands to whatever it is you want.
I see.
It's not an external thing. As an external thing, I'm using Emmet, but you probably already know about Emmet for writing shorthand HTML and then hitting tab, and you get the entire HTML you want.
Do you use Grunt or Bower?
I use Bower, yeah.
Yeah. What about Grunt?
No, I don't use Grunt. Only Bower to manage packages.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Just a suggestion to give. I think the best investment you can do as beginners is to spend enough time on your code editors. It can be your best friends, like mastering code snippets or do some quick things like that in order to increase your productivity. So
yeah, I agree.
Spend a certain amount of time in order to know the ins and outs of your code editor in order to work quicker and faster.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long-term investment, you know, if you do this, it's gonna help you a lot. Another question from Tomek: did you try Atom or Atom? No, I didn't, but it's a text editor, it seems.
Yeah,
okay.
Just like Sublime Text. Yeah, it's good. It's a good one. I've used it several days ago, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Many plugins, and yeah.
It seems there's also versions for Windows and Linux.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's cross-platform. That's good, and it's free, right?
Yeah, basically it was done for just it was built just for Mac, but after that they built a Linux and Windows version.
Okay. Cool. Let's see, another question. When is going to be the next episode? The next episode is going to be next month in March. Probably around this date, 15th to 20th of the month. But I'll announce just like I did now with like a week before. I'm not exactly sure when you would prefer it to be. I can do it in any day of the week. For this episode, I did a survey, and we had split results, 50-50, between a Monday and a Friday, and I decided to put it on this Friday. So I don't know if it's helpful for you. I'll do another survey to find the exact day or actually the time when you want to see the next episode. And also, I got quite a lot of suggestions for the topics that we could talk about. And I did touch on one of them in this episode, which was the motivation behind, doing your work. So I'll probably just do another survey and let you guys decide when it's going to be. That's probably best. So let's see if we have any more questions or. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up then for this episode. We've been going at it for almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I think people are tired now. I know it's really late for some of you.
No,
okay. And yeah, we had a slow start, but people came in the end. So I'm really glad I had the chance to talk to all of you guys today. Thank you for joining me for this episode number 2. And as a reminder, this is recorded and will be posted later on YouTube, just in case you want to catch the first section of the episode. Yeah, I'd like to thank you very much to everyone who participated, and I will see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Mr. Adi. Thank you for your time. Mulțumesc.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you for answering all our questions.
Okay.
See you next time.
Okay. See you everyone.